They thought humiliating him would break him, but it sparked a movement they couldn't control. Welcome back to the Untold Struggles, where hidden truths are revealed and stories that society tries to bury come alive. Today's story is one of injustice, resilience, and a fight against a system designed to silence those without power. This one is called Racial Profiling Gone Too Far. Stay with us until the very end, because what begins as humiliation in the streets will explode into a fight for justice no one saw coming. Malik Johnson was just 19 years old, a quiet kid, a freshman at community college, with dreams bigger than the small town of Ashwood could contain. He was coming home from his part-time job at the grocery store, backpack slung over his shoulder, earbuds in his ears, when the red and blue lights flashed behind him. The sound of the siren cut through the night. Malik froze. He hadn't done anything wrong. He was just walking. A police cruiser pulled up beside him. Out stepped Sergeant Robert Hale, a tall, broad-shouldered officer with a reputation for being merciless, especially toward young black men. "You," Hale barked. "Hands where I can see them." Malik hesitated. "Sir, don't talk. Just do it," Hale shouted, his hand hovering near his holster. Malik raised his hands, heart pounding. Neighbors peeked through blinds. Someone across the street pulled out a phone to record. Hale circled him like a predator. "Were you headed this late, huh? Backpack looks heavy. What's in it? Stolen goods? Drugs?" Malik shook his head quickly. "No, sir. Just books. Homework." But Hale smirked, unzipping the backpack and dumping its contents onto the hood of the cruiser. Notebooks, a laptop, a half-eaten sandwich spilled across the metal. The humiliation burned deeper than the cold air. By now, a small crowd had gathered. The phone cameras were rolling. "Spread your legs. Hands on the hood," Hale ordered. "Please," Malik whispered, glancing at the cameras. "I didn't do anything." "You fit the description," Hale snapped. "The description of what?" "Of trouble," Hale said coldly, forcing Malik against the cruiser. The cameras caught every second, the way Malik flinched under the rough pat-down, the way Hale smirked as if this was sport. And then, with a mocking laugh, Hale held Malik's laptop high. "Looks expensive. You sure this is yours?" Malik clenched his teeth. "My mom saved up for that." "Please don't." But before he could finish, Hale slammed it shut and tossed it carelessly back onto the hood, leaving a visible crack across the screen. The crowd gasped. Malik's chest heaved with rage he couldn't release. "Next time, don't walk around here like you own the place," Hale sneered, shoving the bag back into Malik's arms. Then, just as quickly as he came, Hale got back in his cruiser and drove off, leaving Malik in the street with his cracked laptop, his scattered books, and his pride stripped bare. That night, Malik couldn't sleep. The humiliation replayed in his head like a nightmare. But by morning, the nightmare was no longer just his. The video was everywhere. Ashwood cop harasses black teen for walking home. Caught on camera, abuse of power. Millions watched as Sergeant Hale mocked Malik, broke his laptop, and treated him like a criminal. Some comments were cruel. He must have done something. But most were outraged. This kid deserves justice. And justice was coming, faster than anyone expected. At the Ashwood Police Department, the video caused chaos. Hale was called in for questioning. "You embarrassed this department," the chief said, slamming his fist on the desk. Hale leaned back smug. "Embarrassed? I did my job. That kid was loitering, looking suspicious. These people cry wolf every time we do our jobs." But behind closed doors, even some of his fellow officers muttered that he had gone too far this time. Still, Hale wasn't worried. He had friends in high places, a cousin on the city council, a brother in the sheriff's office. He'd survived worse. He thought Malik was just another powerless kid who'd be forgotten in a week. He was wrong. Malik's mother, Denise, sat him down at the kitchen table. "Baby, you don't have to fight this. We can let it go." But Malik shook his head. "If I stay quiet, he'll just do it to the next kid. And maybe the next one doesn't make it home." He reached for his cracked laptop, the screen barely working, and opened it. "I'm going to tell my story." That night, Malik recorded a video of his own. He spoke not with anger, but with trembling honesty. "My name is Malik Johnson. I'm 19 years old. I was just walking home from work when Sergeant Hale stopped me. I wasn't a suspect. I wasn't a threat. I was just black. And that was enough. The video spread like wildfire. The world didn't just see a victim anymore. They saw a fighter. Within days, protests filled the streets of Ashwood. Crowds chanted Malik's name. Signs read, "Books, not bars," and "Justice for Malik." Hale, once untouchable, was now despised. His face was plastered across national headlines. In an emergency town meeting, the mayor announced Hale's suspension pending investigation. The crowd roared in approval. For the first time, Malik felt the tide shifting. But Hale wasn't finished. Late one night, Malik received an anonymous message on social media. "You don't know who you're messing with. Drop it or else." He ignored it. The next morning, his mother's car tires were slashed. The following week, Malik noticed a black SUV parked near his house every night, its windows tinted, engine idling. Hale was sending a message. "You may have embarrassed me, but I still own this town." The investigation dragged on, but pressure from the protests grew louder. Finally, the state attorney general announced Hale would be charged with misconduct, harassment, and destruction of property. The courtroom was packed on the day of his hearing. Malik sat in the front row, his mother's hand gripping his tightly. When Hale was let in, dressed in a suit instead of a uniform, his arrogance was gone. The evidence was overwhelming. The video, the testimony, the broken laptop Malik carried in as proof. And when the judge read the words, "Sergeant Robert Hale, you are hereby stripped of your badge and placed under arrest," the room erupted in cheers. For the first time, Malik felt justice had been served. But just as relief washed over him, Hale turned, his eyes locking onto Malik. He leaned close as officers cuffed him and whispered words only Malik could hear. "This isn't over. You think you've won? You have no idea who you're up against." A chill ran down Malik's spine. That night, Malik returned home to find an envelope on the doorstep. Inside was a single photo. It showed Malik walking with his younger sister, Jada, from school the previous week. Scrawled across it in red ink were the words, "She's next." Malik's hand shook as he dropped the photo. His mother screamed when she saw it. This wasn't victory. This was just the beginning of a darker war. That night, Malik couldn't sleep. Every creak outside, every passing car made him flinch. He stayed awake by the window, watching for the black SUV that had been stalking him before. It never came. But in the pit of his stomach, Malik knew the war wasn't over. The next day, Malik marched into the police station, photo in hand. "I want protection for my family. Whoever's behind this, they're watching us." The desk sergeant, a heavy-set man with tired eyes, glanced at the photo and sighed. "Look, kid, we're swamped. Prank threats happen all the time. And with Hale behind bars, you don't got nothing to worry about." "Nothing to worry about?" Malik slammed the photo on the counter. "That's my little sister. She's a child. You think this is a joke?" The sergeant shrugged. "Unless someone actually harms you, our hands are tied." Malik stormed out, fury and helplessness boiling inside him. Outside, reporters swarmed him, microphones shoved in his face. "Malik, how do you feel now that Hale has been charged?" Malik looked at them, jaw tight. "You all think it's over? It's not. Hale may be gone, but someone else is pulling strings. And they're coming after my family." The cameras captured every word. That night, Malik received a message request on social media from an unfamiliar name, Jordan Carter. Jordan claimed he was a rookie officer, and he had information. They met in a quiet coffee shop away from cameras. Jordan leaned across the table, speaking in a low voice. "You're right. Hale didn't act alone. He's part of something bigger. A group of officers here in Ashwood call themselves the Shield. They cover for each other, protect their own, and go after anyone who threatens them." Malik froze. So Hale wasn't the top, just a pawn. And you, by going viral, by getting him locked up, you've become their number one target. Malik's chest tightened. "They're threatening my sister." Jordan nodded grimly. "That's their way. They don't just silence you. They break you by going after who you love." 2 days later, Malik walked Jada home from school himself. His eyes scanned every corner, every parked car. That's when he saw it. The same black SUV, idling across the street. its windows tinted so dark it was impossible to see inside. Malik stepped forward, anger replacing fear. He pulled out his phone, pointing it at the vehicle. The SUV roared to life, screeched down the street, and vanished. Jada clutched his arm. Malik, they're watching us, aren't they? He forced a smile, hiding the truth. Not for long. I promise. The threats escalated. A brick smashed through their living room window at 3 a.m. Spray painted across the wall outside. Shut up or bleed. Denise wanted to move. We can't stay here, Malik. We're not safe. But Malik shook his head. If we run, they win. I won't let them chase us out. That morning, he went live again. His cracked laptop propped on the kitchen table, the broken glass still scattered behind him. This isn't just about me anymore, Malik said, his voice trembling with controlled fury. This is about corruption. This is about power. And this is about people who think they can scare us into silence. But I refuse to be silent. Not when my family's life is on the line. The stream blew up instantly. Hashtags trended. Protesters doubled in size. Ashwood was no longer just a small town scandal. It was national news. One night, as Malik walked home from class, Jordan appeared again, face pale. You need to be careful. I overheard them talking at the precinct. They're planning something. Something big. They want to pin a crime on you. Malik blinked. What kind of crime? Jordan's voice lowered. Drugs. Guns. Something they can plant. Something they can spin. Once they brand you a criminal, everything you've fought for, everything you've said, it all disappears. Malik's blood ran cold. That same night, a patrol car pulled up outside his house. Two officers knocked on the door with forced smiles. Routine check, Mrs. Johnson, one of them said as they pushed past her. Within minutes, they were searching Malik's room. When they left, Malik found a small bag hidden under his bed. He opened it, and his stomach dropped. Inside was a pistol. The next morning, Hale's allies made their move. Four squad cars screeched to a halt outside the Johnson home. Officers stormed in, shoving Malik against the wall as his mother screamed and Jada cried. Malik Johnson, you are under arrest for illegal possession of a firearm. The cameras were waiting outside. The same crowd that once cheered his bravery now gasped in shock. Handcuffs clicked around Malik's wrists. The media headlines shifted instantly. Teen hero caught with gun in home. Justice fighter or secret criminal. Malik sat in the courtroom, shackled, as prosecutors painted him as a dangerous young man pretending to be a victim. This isn't about racial profiling, the prosecutor sneered. This is about a troubled kid hiding behind excuses. But then Jordan appeared. He walked straight to the judge, hands shaking, holding a file. Your Honor, I have evidence, Jordan said. Body cam footage from the night Malik's house was searched. The officers, they planted that gun. I saw it with my own eyes. The courtroom exploded in gasps. The judge leaned forward. Present the footage. On the screen, clear as day, one of Hale's allies was seen slipping the bag under Malik's bed before discovering it minutes later. The case collapsed instantly. Malik was freed. The courtroom erupted in cheers. His mother wept tears of joy. Jada hugged him so tight he could barely breathe. For once, justice had been served again. But as Malik left the courthouse, reporters swarming him, a black car pulled up slowly to the curb. The window rolled down. Inside sat a man Malik had never seen before. Sharp suit, cold eyes. You think Hale was your enemy? The man said calmly. Hale was nothing. He was a soldier. I am the one who decides what happens in this town. And if you keep pushing, you won't just lose your laptop. You'll lose everyone you love. The car sped off, leaving Malik frozen in place. The cheers of the crowd fading into silence. This wasn't about Hale anymore. This was about the Shield. And they had just declared war. That night, Malik sat in his room, staring at his cracked laptop screen. His phone buzzed with texts of support, messages of solidarity, hashtags trending in his name. But then, a notification popped up, an anonymous video message. He clicked play. The screen showed Jada sitting on a bench outside school earlier that day. A distorted voice said, "You were warned. Round 3 begins now." The screen cut to black. Malik's breath caught in his throat. His hands trembled. The fight for justice had turned into a fight for survival. To be continued. Malik may have escaped the trap, but now an even bigger enemy has stepped out of the shadows. What would you do if your family was threatened for speaking the truth? Do you believe Malik can take down the shield before it's too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Untold Struggles, where every struggle deserves to be told.